we move forward then. So NFC Championship, Saturday. The Bucks, and they're going to be playing the Packers, the battle of the number 12s. Two, as we never tire of saying, as first round eligible Hall of Fame all day long. No question. You know, there may as well not even be a vote. Just put them straight in when they retire, because you're just going to waste 5 years waiting to put them in. I have backward and forwarded over this one ever since the end of that Bucks game. And I'm a bit like you this week. I've got the Green Bay Packers. The team I could not think of another team I'd want to make this championship game less. Maybe the Vikings. But as a Bears fan, seeing this Packers team absolutely lord it over everyone, stroll to the championships to face a Buccaneers team with Brady, and you know, he is a very Marmite QB now. He's with, you know, comes with success. Every successful sportsman or entertainer gets that moment where, you know, everyone's adoration of them then turns as they realise they've just been too successful and want to see other one do it. I'm going to go not just because I really could not stand to see green and gold in the Raymond James Dome. I'm going with the Bucks, with Brady, to take the momentum and use a similar style of offense. You identified it when we talked in the review. Akers run over the Packers. And it was on the back of a strong run game that Brady set that win against the Saints. And for me, I cannot hopefully see this going in any other direction but the same. I think it will be tight to start with. I think they'll, you know, as many games as these two QBs have played, Brady looked a little bit nervous against the Saints, it has to be said. His completion rates were well down early in that game. And I just think this is going to be a slow burn, because I think both teams are going to need to do it on the ground. But ultimately, I think the Bucks will just have enough to edge over the Packers and go to the Super Bowl in their home stadium. Now I don't have it to hand, but I know for a fact that that is not something that happens very often, if at all.
I think it goes way back to the Saints playing when it was the Superdome.
Superdome.
And you're right. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since that's happened. But that's interesting. I mean, you know, Coach, how in the world do you not be backing somebody who's got six rings? You know, I mean, it's hard. It really is hard. And, you know, the thing is that he has those weapons. You know, I'm obviously talking about Brady and the Bucks. That you look at it, you know, it's like, okay, do I throw it to Evans? Do I throw it to Godwin? Do I throw it to AB? Do I throw it to Gronk? You know, I mean, yeah, he's got a lot of weapons. But there's one thing that I think that's going to make this game interesting. Number one, they're playing in Green Bay. Okay, so that should be in terms of, you know, weather. It'll have a slight effect, not a massive effect. But the thing is Green Bay, you know, that's football town USA. And they're used to winning. I can see this game, you know, let's look at a couple of things. All right, so number one, Green Bay. We know that Brady doesn't like getting hit, whereas Aaron Rodgers faced number one rushing defense last week. And he just walked all over them. I mean, he just moved around. Green defense, that rushing defense has got some. I mean, it's a good thing they're called the cheeseheads, because there's so many damn holes in that defense. It's a joke. You know, they have allowed a lot of runs. Would Rojo and I guess Fournette, now Fournette's down as the number one back. He got 100 yards last week. You know, he could hurt you, especially with that running style, because it's very much, he's not a slasher. He's definitely up the gut. He's kind of a smash mouth football player. So it'll be weird watching that. But then again, you also have to remember that offensive line of they are the fourth best at sacks allowed. So they protect Aaron Rodgers. And he has had a lot of protection. You rarely see him where getting hit. And, still mobile enough as a quarterback. He's still got those tricks. Like I said, I mean, we saw it when he ran that ball in. I mean, who in the world would have called that? Saying that, first game out of the season, Brady wearing his Bucs uniform walks it in and then slams the ball down there. So good. But I think this is going to come down to it's definitely going to come down to Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. I see that Rodgers has got more weapons because we've got two defenses that are going to be on and off. I honestly think this is going to be a Green Bay game. I'm going to go so far as I'm even happy to go ahead and put a prediction down on score. Green Bay is going to win 28-24. And the reason for that is that they're going to out of the gate. You're going to see a good amount of ball control. They're going to go ahead and eat up that first quarter. I think that Brady is going to end up, he's going to play a decent game. You're going to see a good defense that comes in off of that Bucs team. I wouldn't even be surprised if you see a pick six on Rodgers. It's happened before. But this is definitely, I think, I'm happy that both of us are split on this one because it'll make it interesting. Not that it does to make it interesting. You're talking about two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and one of the, whether you love him or you don't, he's still the people's champion. You got Gronkowski over there too. So, but it should be a good game. Should be a real good game. But yeah, 28-24 Green Bay.
Okay. Well, listen, there's a lot of what you say that absolutely hits home. There is absolutely, it's in there. I'll take what you said and I'll push this back on you. And now I'm going into bat for the Bucs. We've put our colours on the mast, and I'm going to put the shits back on you. The Bucs trailed against the Saints and got themselves to a position where they didn't have control of that game for large portions of the game, but they established that run. Fournette and Rojo, as you say, they were the platform upon which Brady built that game. And you said it yourself, Green Bay give up rushing yards. And you're not going to change that in a week. I don't think you're going to change that. You're right, Davante Adams, big threat. Michael Thomas, we said it already, held to 0 catches. If Tampa Bay can shut down Davante Adams, yes, the Packers have other threats. But I think, again, you take that away, you're putting Rodgers under extra pressure. And I'm going to go back to something that I said last week, and it might be the only thing that I got right in all of our conversation. Bruce Arians this week came out and said, I put that game in Brady's hands. I allowed him to coach that game and call it as he saw it. Green Bay holds no fear for Brady. He played in New England for too long to be worried about weather conditions or Green Bay being the football city. I don't see that being as big a factor, but I do see that Arians will allow Brady once again to lead that and make the changes as he sees them. And I see that being, for me, the decisive factor. I think we're going to see it in years to come. I hope, and we touched on it last week, but I hope in years to come, we see Brady on the sideline with a clipboard in hand, calling games, not in the booth, in a jacket, keeping warm, giving us his opinion on the game, because he is too good to not be able to call games. And I think for me, that's the deciding factor. The Brady factor is going to come into it. We're looking at someone who's going to be heading back to Raymond James, to his now home stadium, looking for number 7 and a number that it will never, ever be surpassed. I'm not sure we're going to see 6 in again.
That if we think about this, the only time that these two quarterbacks faced each other, they've only faced each other 3 times because they weren't in the – it just could never happen.
Yeah.
Unless it was Super Bowl. And when they have faced each other in the Super Bowl, yeah, Brady's got 2 to Aaron Rodgers 1. But you already said it before, Devontae Adams. Remember, what do I look at? I'm not looking at the fizz and the super catches and all that. I'm looking at who's guarding him. Jalen Ramsey is one of the best cover guys that you're ever going to find. Could not hold him back. As a matter of fact, just, and it wasn't trash talk, but they were talking to each other. Come on, let's give the people what they want to see. Target him. 10 targets, 9 catches, 1 touch. End of. That's it. Aaron Rodgers doesn't fear anybody, and Shaq Barrett, I don't see Shaq being able to get through. I just don't see that defense being able to they'll hurry him and they'll probably get a hit or 2 on it, but I don't see them being able to go ahead and control Aaron Rodgers. I just, it's weird. What is it with Green Bay and quarterbacks? Brett Favre, a guy who could, he should never have gone to Minnesota that last year. But anyways, long story short, and they've got Aaron Rodgers just is brilliant. I mean, I'm hopeful this is going to be a good game. I think it will. I know that Will's shocked that I'm not going for Tampa, and normally because I like Tampa's style. I love Bruce Arians, but I really see, again, this is, I think because we're at we're close to the end now, Coach, I'm really looking at, I'm throwing the heart out there. It's ripped out, no more. It's only here. I'm only going with what I know is on paper where it can go. And also, we're talking about playoff. You throw the script out. You look at what's happened previously. And last week, I think that really, really enjoyed the Packers. I thought that they looked good against, an interesting Rams team. I love the Tampa. I think the Bucs, the way that they've been playing lately, has been good. This is going to be a great game. It's going to be a good one to watch.
It is,
and it'll be a good one to watch.
I think it's great. Again, that we see it from different angles and for different reasons. Much as we did last week, I'm prepared to go out there and make a ridiculous call, but in some people's eyes. But I just this look, as we said, this is what we're here for. And this is, for me, the pick of the 2 games, because we're going to move on to Sunday. We're going to move on to Chiefs Bills. We're going to hope, unlike me with the Packers, and I don't expect you to do any differently with the Chiefs, but I'm going to put a bit of a sort of a blinkered view on this one and throw it over to you and see which way are you going to fall, and is it going to be the same way as me?
Well, okay, let's just about this. Buffalo Bills, strong arm quarterback. Josh Allen's been just a revelation. It's been great to see playing the way he is. The guy is, he's a proper player, and he's a baller too. I mean, he's not afraid to take a hit. He's a quarterback. He's a quarterback with a linebacker's mentality at times, which is great. And then you got Stephon Diggs, biggest chip on his shoulder that you could ever see, and wants to be thought of as one of the greats. And he will be, I think. I honestly think that Diggs is probably he was overrated, underrated. He's steady. Put up a lot of great numbers. But you're playing against Kansas City Chiefs that, the Super Bowl champions week. Even with some adversity, they still went ahead and found a way to win. That's what counts. No one cares what the score is. It's, do you got a W or do you have an N or a D? Who wants a D? We're talking about an interesting game held over in Arrowhead. That means no Bills Mafia coming to visit or anything like that. Bills Mafia were definitely there. Man, they really, really showed up.
Yeah, they lit that stadium up.
They did. And, that Bills defense, patient, contained, stopped Lamar. Dobbins. Did Dobbins even run? I mean, come on. You wonder what happened with that team. It was a really good game. Really good game. And the thing about that Bills team is they disrupt quarterbacks, throw them out of their rhythm, and that's what you need. Really good. Slightly weak on the rushing, let's be honest, but they found a way to do it and they're a blitzing team. They like to blitz a lot. So really, really good. But then they play against, they're a disrupting team, and they're playing the most undisruptible quarterback in the league right now, which is Patrick Mahomes. And we're going to go with the assumption that Pat may be there and he may not. But you know what? Doesn't matter, because I think this team is one of those teams that finds a way to win whatever they've got. Andy Reid has been in the game for a long time. He's a great coach. And even though he may be playing for, coaching a team I'm not a particular fan of, the guy knows what he needs to do, and he's been able to do it. And he gets the good people around him. His offensive coordinator is strong, and his defensive coordinator is strong also. And Pat Shurmur has been able to know exactly how that is. So if we look at it, Bills, they've got a great quarterback. They've got a fantastic running, which might get a line in, might not. But they're playing against a defense that has held teams up there, that blitzes a lot. They also is strong, and then they've got a quarterback that, Kelsey, what can you say? Kelsey's just been, how many yards? I think Kelsey got as many yards as Tyreek Hill, and he's a tight end in that last game. So you asked me at the beginning which way I was going to go ahead and lean, and obviously you kind of already figured it out. And I hate to say it, ladies and gentlemen, but this will be the first and only time that you will hear Bill Thompson say that the Chiefs are going to go ahead and win this week, with or without Patrick Mahomes. And the reason why is because the team's been there before. They know what they need to do. They're not worried about flash. They don't have to put up big numbers. All they want is a W. Get us to the next game. And that's all they need. And right now, that's the team that's going to do it. John Allen and his Bills look great. And you know what? They should be very pleased with where they've done this year. Don't go on about a weak schedule or anything. I know that a lot of people will bring that up, but I don't think it is a weak schedule. I think that the Bills deserve to be where they are right now. And technically, 2 years from now, they're a championship winning team. They might even be a championship winning team later. Who knows? I could be completely wrong with this one. But this week, my heart and my head are saying it's going to be the Chiefs. And I'm not even going to go ahead and put a score line on it, because let's just see a really good game, whoever plays.
We saw the Bucks and the Packers game from opposite angles for different reasons, and I'm looking at this game and I'm trying to find reasons that I can pick one side over the other, and it's a lot easier in this game, in my opinion. I'm going to say, as we said, it's Wednesday. We don't know what's going to happen. I have to say that I stick with what I said. I think Mahomes is not going to be ready or allowed to play in this game this weekend. I think the situation changes should they get through this game to the Super Bowl. I think it changes, and I think the extra time there really does make a big difference given where we are. What you said earlier, the Bills were so patient on their defense against Lamar, and so good at holding that team and containing that team when they needed to, and they needed to contain the legs. They needed to contain the running of Jackson, because that opened up downfield options and passing. Mark Andrews, I thought, was going to be a factor. It just really wasn't, because there's no established run game. If you've got no established run game, then you can't make play action work. And if you're going to get a tight end out, play action is the way to do it. I see this being a different game. If we got Henne leading, and let's be fair to Henne, he's been around the league enough. When he came off the bench last week, he wasn't thrusting a new, inexperienced, never seen anything quarterback in there. You're putting a guy in that while his experience may not have been stellar, he's still a solid pro. He knows what he needs to do. And that was shown when we touched on it. The Browns had the opportunity. They turned the ball over, but still had a chance of getting that ball back with time to try and pull something off. Henny's experience came to the fore then. He managed that situation and he got the Chiefs through, as you said. So I'm looking at this as a game where you've got, on the one side of the ball, you've got the Bills who are going to want to contain their team. On the other side, you've got a Chiefs team with weapons all over. And unfortunately, and this is where I have to now say I'm in agreement with you, which may not lead to much backwards and forwards and alternate views. The reason I'm going there is because I see the Chiefs having more threat through the air. And I think that's where, with the likes of Hill, Watkins wasn't playing. I don't know whether he's going to be back for this week. But the Chiefs had 6 different receivers catch a ball in the first half last year. We haven't even talked about Hardman. Hardman can take the ball on the ground. He can take the ball through the air. If he gets the ball in his hands on a short pass, he can turn it into a long game very quickly in the blink of an eye. There are not too many linebackers or even safeties that would appreciate matching up against him when they're crossing the field. And if Edwards-Helaire is able to just get something going on the ground and opens up that play action for Henny, you said it, Kelsey, he's gonna be open, and he's going to be open a lot, and he is going to create mismatches. And I think this game, even without Mahomes, and I think this is, if you're on Andy Reid, everything we've said on this subject has been absolutely on the button in regards to where we are on how Mahomes should be handled and what should be done. And I don't blame Reid for not coming out and saying, no, I'm not going to start him this weekend. I wouldn't do. If he was my QB, I might be thinking it. I might not be wanting to play him, but I'm certainly not going to be telling the opposition he's not playing. But I think if I'm Andy Reid, I'm sitting in that room thinking, that's okay. We've got Henny. We know what we can do. We know what we need to do. And
on that, just as a reminder, last year when we had the leg injury from Mahomes, Henning came in and he did fine.
Yeah.
And I think they still, they got it done. And that's the thing that you need to look at. But worry will always be that, I think Mahomes has got enough of the right people around him, his father, definitely to say, look, listen to the doctors, listen to the league. And at the end of the day, he's been starting quarterback for 2 years.
Yeah.
Come on. He's got plenty of time.
And you're absolutely right. I think this is a question of, this is a team who, in my opinion, don't need Mahomes to get through this game. And that, for me, means that you can't look at anything other than a Chiefs win here, because I think Henny comes in, does enough, gets them through this one and on to the Super Bowl. And then the questions will start. And I will say this. I think with the break, with the extra week in between games, I think Mahomes has more than sufficient time then to recover and come through and play in that game. If we need to talk about that, we will do. But, the Bills have been superb. What a story this year. And in that division, it's not been the division it has been in the past. The Patriots are clearly going through a bit of a change of personnel, shall we say, and the Newton thing may, depending on the rumours that you might listen to, may be coming to a bit of an end. You've also got the Jets in that division. I agree with you. I don't think that's the reason the Bills are here. I think that's something that the Bills would use to their advantage. Absolutely. Playing in that division, you go out, you get your wins. But what we've seen in the playoffs from this Bills team is this is a team, as you say, this is a team that could be a franchise team with the players that they've got. This could be something that is going to come through in the next few years. However, that said, we've seen it before with teams who have got to this sort of position and they've imploded. It's going to be interesting to see whether that happens in Buffalo. I don't think it will. I think there's a good setup there, and I think they've got the right people in the right places and the fans on board with them that will carry this team on. But yeah, I think Chiefs win this one. I think Henne comes in and does a solid, not spectacular job. He does what he needs to do. I'm going to put a score on this one. I'm going to say that they're going to score 24 points and they're going to hold the Bills to 10.
Okay. Strong there, Coach.
Well, we will see what happens and hope that everybody enjoys this weekend. The championship game, it's a huge weekend and it's one that I really enjoy because these games often can be really good games because these teams, this is it. This is the one that not the one they want to win. No one's going to put that one on them because obviously they want to get to the Super Bowl. But this is the one that means that they've got there. And in this year where we didn't know at the start of the season whether the season was going to be completed, and we said it I think last week. If we didn't, certainly we talked about it between us that the NFL have done a fantastic job and should be applauded for getting this season completed. And they've had challenges and teams have had, players out with COVID, and we've had games moved and all sorts of adversity that they faced as everybody is, including us, as we know. One of the prime reasons that we're doing what we're doing is because we can't do anything with our family at the moment. Our Phoenix football is off track, and we just hope that with Coach and I sitting here rambling and giving you our thoughts on what we think is going to happen, not only will it keep our players and our supporters and people that are involved in the sport in this country engaged, it will just be that little reminder that we're moving towards hopefully getting back on the field ourselves. And wow, am I going to take some pelters when we get back to training from players? Coach, why did you say that? Oh, Coach, I can't believe you called that. And in fact, I'm hoping that it's going to start in the comments, that people watching this will leave a comment. Tell us what they think. How do you see these games? How do you see, once these games are finished, how do you see next week's games? Because one of the things we'd like to do is have a moment at the end of this where we can sort of introduce some of your thoughts to this as well. Maybe you might have a question for Bill. Why does he hate the Chiefs so much? He's a Broncos fan. I mean, we have to forgive him. He's clearly, he's clearly struggling. So ask questions, post comments, but enjoy listening to us give our opinions, because we are just doing that. We are just giving our opinions, and we are loving doing this, and hopefully we're going to keep doing it for well into the off season and then be back next season. Coach, I can't thank you enough for joining me this week. It did go on much longer than we anticipated. I'm hoping that I can cut that down in the edit. If not, we're going to strap in, grab some popcorn and enjoy listening to us talk about football.
Yeah.
Please post We look forward to seeing you next week, Coach. Many thanks once again for joining me again this week.
No, Coach. Happy to be here. Go Pack, go.